The following National Geographic Creative Works program is paid content created for and in collaboration with Pfizer.
Coronavirus. More than 500,000 people.
Surpassing 1 million deaths from the...
COVID was not one of the many diseases. It was the disease that was affecting everything in our society. And this is when we start really feeling this pressure of the billions of people, millions of businesses, hundreds of governments, that suddenly we became their biggest hope for a solution. It took just 10 days, and then things escalated rapidly. My first message to the Pfizer colleagues was I sent a video. I want to take a moment to share my thoughts regarding the global health challenge posed by the novel coronavirus. I told them that I know there is a lot of uncertainty in the minds of everyone, but I told them, as with any challenge we face, our North Star remains our belief in science. I immediately started making a plan for how Pfizer can contribute to this pandemic. We started engaging all our resources to develop a therapeutic and a vaccine. Science was driving everything. So when in January we learned that the virus was sequenced, immediately we jumped on it. And my team came to present to me the plans to develop a vaccine. The original timelines were that we will know in a record time, I have to say, by mid of 2021. I told them, go back please and calculate how many people will die in the fall if we don't have a solution. How many more people will die in October? This is when the flu season is coming. And also because I knew from the previous pandemic, a century ago, the Spanish flu. The first in the UK, that was one of the very few countries that were keeping statistics at that time, in June, 5 people out of 1,000 citizens were dying. In October, 5 times more. And combining this information with the fact that flu season is coming, I told them, go back and try to make a plan by October. I told them, you don't have to manage the risks that are related with cost and investments. You do things in parallel instead of sequentially. Research, trials, manufacturing, and distribution. You don't have to go to the next phase only if you know that the first phase works. Do it all together, and then we see if it works or not. If not, it's only money. It's not that we don't care about money, right? When you know that billions of people, millions of businesses, hundreds of governments are investing most of their hope to the pharmaceutical industry to find a vaccine, and you are one of the leading companies of doing that, I can assure you that you feel the pressure on your shoulders every day. We had already a partnership with BioNTech, and they had the mRNA. They had spent 10 years investing and learning about this technology.
Today I want to update you on the next stage of this momentous medical initiative. It's called Operation Warp Speed. That means big and it means fast.
One of the very difficult decisions that I had to make was the decision not to take the money.
The federal government is providing unprecedented support and resources.
The deal was clear. You will get the money. If you fail, you fail. You didn't have to pay back the money. If you don't take the money, if you fail, everything comes from your own pocket. But if we take money, we have to consult with those that they gave us the money. And when I realized that it's going to be very out-of-the-box process, it was clear to me that I don't want to burden my scientists with this bureaucracy. So the decision was not to take the money and move with our own resources. Others in my company who even think that we could fail, and I kept telling them failure is not an option. But a clinical trial of 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 people is a major operation. because each one individual needs to be monitored very closely. A phase 3 trial that involves 44,000 people is very rare, and it is a logistical nightmare. I was worried that it would be very difficult. 44,000 people. We will need thousands of people to volunteer. And zero problem. People raise their hands. I want to be part of your study. There is a lot of tension waiting for the results to come. And we realized that the impact of failure is going to be significant. Failure of us likely will mean failure of many, and the world would be in big trouble. Everything was depending on a computerized system that was connecting research centers, machines that were performing tests, people in the labs. It is extremely important to protect the data from the trial sites. Always, the technology opens possibilities not only to good people, but also to criminals. As a result, the birth of a new whole science that is called cybersecurity. I had zillions of concerns, but each one had to be addressed.
My dad's very good at handling the stress, but a lot of those decisions did weigh on him because you can never know until it's done. And then when it's done, it's too late to fix it.
The impact that the success or failure will have is way beyond what it means for you. What will happen to the world if you fail?
No, Mr. President, you would have been much later, Joe.
Mr. President,
much later.
Mr. President,
You took idea.
let him.
I watched the presidential debate like every other American. And I heard, to my surprise, in the first 5 minutes, the name of Pfizer.
I've spoken to Pfizer. I've spoken to all of the people that you have to speak to.
And I was disappointed. The vaccine was starting to be debated in political terms rather than scientific facts.
So we're going to have a vaccine very soon, maybe even before a very special date.
Who will trust something that it is so much debated by politicians? It looks like politicians are developing the vaccine and they may make it good or not. Nothing is far away from truth. The FDA faced a significant attack and had accusations like the deep state is slowing down the information. And we were feeling very strongly that will create doubts in the minds of the citizens. Well, I think the moment of truth has arrived, and we are here to be able to listen to the news and understand them well. We are going to have our first interim analysis of the data. The interim analysis is the moment that you are either successful or not.
The FDA said that they would accept a vaccine that had at least 50% efficacy.
I was expecting the text from Catherine because I knew that the committee meets at 11 o'clock. It was already 1:30. I was a little bit worried why it takes them so much time.
I was outside of the city, and the data monitoring committee just called a couple of us, into the room, which they always do, virtual room.
And then she sent me a text. We need to talk.
Talk about poker faces, right? You never have an idea what's going on. They start, talking, and, we looked at everything, and we're sitting there and said, yes, and goes on and.
Here we go. Yeah, hello everybody.
Hi, Bill. Hi,
And
Catherine.
Bill. Good news, we made it.
I love you.
Mr. Borla, can I ask you, when did you know that the vaccines didn't stop transmission? How long did you know that without saying it publicly?
Thank you very much.
I'm sorry. Answer that question. I mean, we now know that vaccines didn't stop transmission, but why did you keep it secret? You said it was 100% effective, then 90%, then 80%, then 70%. But we now know that vaccines do not stop transmission. Why did you keep that secret?
Have a nice day.
I won't have a nice day until I know the answer. Why did you keep it a secret that your did not stop transmission.
Is it time to apologise to the world, sir? To give refunds back to the countries that poured all their money into your thing that doesn't work, you're ineffective? Are you not ashamed of what you've done in the last couple of years?
Do you have any apologies to the public, sir?
Are you proud of it? You've made millions on the backs of
Billions.
people's entire livelihoods. How does that feel to walk the streets as a millionaire on the backs of the regular person at home in Australia, in England, in Canada?
What do you think about on your yacht, sir? What do you think about on your private jet? Are you worried about product liability? Are you worried about...
What about the sudden deaths?
What do you have to say about young men dropping dead of every day? Why won't you answer these basic questions? No apology, sir.
Do you think you should be charged criminally for some of the criminal behaviour you've obviously been a part of?
How much money have you personally made off?
How many boosters do you think it'll take for you to be happy enough with your earnings? Nothing?
Who did you meet with here in secret? Will you disclose who you met with?
Great question.
These guys are on
These guys are
Who
on
did you
it.
pay commissions to?
No, Ryan Grimm calls these guys terrorists and right-wing white supremacists. That's what he calls these guys. That's what the Intercept and Breaking Points will probably call these guys, white supremacists, if you turn into Rachel and Sagar.
In the past, Pfizer has paid $2.3 billion in fines for deceptive marketing. Have you engaged in that same conduct again?
Whoa!
Are you under investigation like you were before for your deceptive marketing, sir?
If any other product in the world doesn't work as promised, you get a refund. Should you not refund to countries that laid out billions
Yes.
for your ineffective...
Yes.
Are you used to only sympathetic media, so you don't know how to answer any questions?
Shame on you, sir.
Shame on you. That's Albert Bourla, the boss of Pfizer. His people were pushing us around a little bit.
Mate, he's pretty fit. I don't reckon he's had one jab.
We had a successful vaccine. The efficacy was more than 90%. Oh my God! After 9 months of very hard work, a lot of risk taking, hard work of brilliant scientists, put together their hearts and only their brains, resulted in a success. And this success looks like the biggest scientific breakthrough of the last 100 years. Guys, now the real work begins. Based on that, a lot of things will happen to the world.
Have you taken the vaccine, sir?
No, I haven't taken it yet. And we are having an ethical committee dealing with the question of who is getting it. Given that there are very strict allocation rules that the CDC has voted, we are very sensitive not to cut the queue and have people getting vaccinated before. So still, I think this committee recommends that I will get vaccinated because polls that we have seen said that people will believe much more on this vaccine if the CEO is getting vaccinated. So likely I will get it.
Let me ask you about the amount of vaccine available, because as you were just listening, I'm sure it's been... Have you taken the vaccine, sir?
No, I haven't taken it yet.
Breaking news. Pfizer just announced that its coronavirus vaccine is 95% effective and that they will apply for FDA emergency use approval within days.
Once you get a clinical result, it doesn't mean you're done. We have to go to the end. We file this huge dossier with the FDA.
Tens of thousands of pages. They are specialized scientific documents.
Normally for a submission, We upload it to a portal that's owned by the FDA, but they cited some concerns with cybersecurity. They wanted us to burn it to a hard drive that they issued to us, and they sent armed agents to come pick it up from us. They actually made me leave the room. It was just the 2 guards left so that one of them could put the drive in a bag, and then they both walked out, I think with identical bags, and you didn't know which one of them was carrying the drive.
Tonight, Pfizer and BioNTech's emergency authorization request for a COVID-19 vaccine is in the hands of the FDA, an ambitious target being watched by the world.
Okay, thank you. We are now going to move to the vote.
You'll have 2 minutes to cast your vote.
The emergency use authorization is applied to special circumstances like this, when you have a promising medicine and a huge unmet medical need, like we have right now.
We have 1 minute remaining.
So FDA are using expedient processes to approve a vaccine, but still very rigorous in terms of safety, efficacy, and manufacturing.
So we do have a favorable vote, and that concludes this portion of the meeting.
Breaking news, the first vaccine for coronavirus here in the U.S. has just been approved by an FDA advisory panel. It will receive emergency approval by the FDA, possibly within hours.
We've seen a lot of efforts from companies to develop a vaccine. I was wishing everyone success, and I was wishing everyone to come quickly because I knew that the world needs options, but I was very happy that we were the first.
To see it come to fruition, that there is light at the end of the tunnel, fills me with great pride for my colleagues and also for my family, for your family, for the world.
When we started to have the conversation, Albert put it out there very ambitiously right away that he wanted the vaccine.
The following National Geographic Creative Works program is paid content created for and in collaboration with Pfizer.
Coronavirus.
More than 500,000 people.
Surpassing 1 million deaths from the
COVID was not one of the many diseases. It was the disease that was affecting everything in our society.
An increase in new cases.
How many people will die if we don't have a solution?
There was a lot of fear, a lot of uncertainty, and we were all bracing ourselves for life as we knew it to be put on pause for a while.
We have to do something. We have to get a vaccine to work.
The biggest challenge was the timeline.
Science was driving everything.
Of course there are risks. Wherever there's mystery, there's the possibility that there's an unforeseen problem.
I don't think there was any guarantee that this vaccine was going to work.
And this is when we start really feeling this pressure of the billions of people, millions of businesses, hundreds of governments, that suddenly we became their biggest hope for a solution. I traveled to my country of origin, Greece. I was supposed to speak to a very big economic forum in Delphi. 3 days before the forum, and while I was already in Greece, I received a note that the forum is cancelled. That was a big alert for me.
Passengers have died. Hospital overwhelmed.
Declaring a state of emergency.
It took just 10 days, and then things escalated rapidly.
Pandemic is not a word to use lightly.
This is going rapidly out of proportion.
The Italian hospital at the epicenter.
India, 1.3 billion people on lockdown.
I've been in at least 35 outbreaks and epidemics in my career, and we had not seen entire populations confined to their apartments, warehouses full of patients laying on gurneys. This scale of response and of unfolding rapid epidemic was...
Well, I think the moment of truth has arrived, and we are here to be able to listen to the news and understand them well. We are going to have our first interim analysis of the data. The interim analysis is the moment that you are either successful or not.
The FDA said that they would accept a vaccine that had at least 50% efficacy.
I was expecting the text from Catherine because I knew that the committee meets at 11 o'clock. It was already 1:30. I was a little bit worried why it takes them so much time.
I was outside of the city, and the data monitoring committee just called a couple of us, into the room, which they always do, virtual room.
And then send me a text. We need to talk.
Talk about poker faces, right? You never have an idea what's going on. They start, talking, and we looked at everything, and we were sitting there and said, yes, 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 and.
Here we go. Yeah, hello everybody.
Hi, Bill. Hi,
Yeah,
Catherine.
Bill. Good news. We made it.
I love you. We had a successful vaccine. The efficacy was more than 90%. Oh my God! Vaccine.